Hi, and welcome to JD's Longbox. I'm your host, JD. On a recent trip to my local comic book store, I was surprised to see the first printing #1 issue of GunSlinger Spawn just sitting on the shelf with the newest releases. I thought I'd missed out on this introductory issue, so I scooped it up. For this 60-second review, we're taking a look at GunSlinger Spawn #1, published in 2021 by Image Comics. GunSlinger Spawn was created by Todd McFarlane. The writer was Todd McFarlane, with Ailes caught on a backup story, A Small Gift. Pencils for the main story were by Brett Booth, and then Thomas Nachlik, Philip Tan, and Kevin Keane on backup stories. Inks were by Adelso Corona and Daniel Henriquez, and the colors were by Andrew Dahlhaus, Nikos Kautsas, Marcello Iazoli, Marcelo Mayalo, and Francisco Placienta. This book is presented as an anthology, opening in a modern setting that runs concurrent with the larger Spawn universe, and then follows up with 3 backup stories set in the Wild West that further outlines the backstories of the gunslinger. Brett Booth's art is the real star of the show. His detailed lines combined with Corona's sketchy inks are reminiscent of the early days of Spawn with Capolo's pencils and McFarlane's inks. The color sets the right mood but are too muted in loose separation, leaving some of the pages muddy with images that blend together. The backstories all feature harder ink styles and more vibrant colors. The book was a fun read with amazing visuals that made me nostalgic for the 90s era Spawn, but I haven't kept up with the series since issue 150. And since this was my jumping back on point, I had no idea what was going on. There was little explanation as to who this new Spawn is, what are his new powers, what makes him different from Al Simmons, the original Spawn, and most importantly, it didn't explain what the gunslinger wants. What is his quest? Where will his hero's journey take him? Upon further research, I was surprised to learn that Gunslinger first appeared in Spawn comics over 20 years ago in Spawn issue number 119, and over subsequent appearances, the story of the gunslinger, aka Jeremy Winston, was revealed. As a former preacher in the 1800s, Winston was framed for the murder of his wife and children, and made a deal with a fallen angel to sell his soul for revenge. Much like Al Simmons, he was transformed by the demon Malboja into a hellspawn. His quest to return to his own time and avenge the murder of his sister was set up in the last pages of King Spawn #1. Because there is no recap or help to get a first-time reader up to speed, I'm knocking the writing down to a 7. The colors gets an 8.5. The inks gets a 9. And the pencils gets a 9.5. This adds up to an 85%. I hope you liked this 60-second review. Be sure to like and subscribe, and then check out some of my other videos. I'm JD, and until next time, this box is closed.